Actually, let's do one ranked match. Let's do a ranked match before that.
風が吹く。わけめ風任せさ。
精霊
吹く。森の侵入歓迎するよ。
追いつきたいの。
俺の向くまま風が吹く。どうしてさ。ゼロとなれ。
耶和华向我们所怀的意念是赐平安的心愿。お任せください。有丰盛有嘘でしょ。
Thank you, God, for the win. A pretty solid win. And now we can open card pack. So we're gonna open 7 card packs. Thank you, God, for 7 card packs. We would like to see 2 legendaries. Dionne for 5 premiums. Let's go. So, dear God, I pray that whatever we open, we use its fullest potential. And thank you for the opportunity to enjoy so many games. Thank you for such a good deck building communities that are sharing your cool decks. I pray that I'm able to contribute positively to the gaming communities I'm a part of. I pray that I'm able to share good ideas, whether they're just in games or applicable outside of games. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. So, let's see. Hello. confused. Because I saw someone who already had one premium. I'm already confused. One person already has this blue card back. So that means one season of this had already finished. I was not aware that 2-second premium. Thank you. That means a season. I need to ask about this. Whether a whole season has elapsed. What? Let me see. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. God just gave me the Leader and Dionne and premium. What? Oh my god. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Wow. What? What? Oh my god. I barely opened any cards in the set and I have both of the leaders. I think this is the leader. Whoa. Whoa. Dear God, I don't know if I'm going to use this Dionne leader, but thank you for it. Thank you for a premium one. This is like 3 card packs open. Oh. Oh. This. Oh. Yes. What? Oh, dear. I don't know about how she's a little bit scantily dressed. It's a little bit risque, but I love my leaders. Oh, thank God. I like my leaders. That's like one of the best things about Shadowverse that all the other card games can learn. So we just the second legendary and a good one too, Daria. Second legendary. Oh wow, wow. Wait, that actually literally puts us at 3 we're at 3 premiums. We're at 2 legendaries. And what did I ask for? And I got 1 Dionne. We're already super good. We just need 1 premium. Oh, Daria's really good legendary. Oh, so good. Wow, this is a good card pack opening already. Another premium. Okay, that's the 3rd, 4th. Woman who Johnny. 5th premium. 4th, 5th premium. 2 legendaries. 1 leader. 4th, 5th. 6 premiums. 6 premium. Wow, that was fantastic. Woman who Johnny. Ah! I can't, well, I can believe it, but I can't believe that it's like literally came so fast. Of course I can believe it, that's why I believe that's exactly why. We even ask, we really believe that God shows up if we ask him for stuff. God hears every single time we ask for stuff. Does he actually give us things that we ask for every single time we ask for them? No, because half the time the things we ask for, we change our minds. Half the time we get something, and then we're like, not good enough. And so we have to actually, I think when we ask God for stuff, if we want to see God move in a very tangible way, we should really spend the time to actually figure out what does God want, and then what do we want. That's exactly how it works when you're trying to figure out how to make a relationship work. what makes the other person happy and what makes yourself happy, and then think about the other people. Like, okay, does getting a Daria, it's amazing, but does getting a Daria take away from anybody else? Like, or does getting a Dionne, does this make me, like, does this make me take away anything from anybody else? Does it make me hurt anybody? Not necessarily. It could make you a worse person. Getting a scantily dressed card like this might make a person more horny. It might make a person worse, actually, more addicted, more unhappy, more dissatisfied. So that's not what God would want, right? God doesn't want us to be like, yeah, sure, getting cards is cool, but then if we get cards, we become worse as people. That's not what God wants to see. God wants to smile, and so if we make it easy for God to smile over us, I think we'll see God more, really. That's what it comes down to. But oh, that is so great. Thank God. Seriously. That means we got both the leaders of the set, which is super hard when you actually look at how hard it is to get a leader and then a premium leader. It is ridiculous. There's only two leaders. Galmio, got her, and Dionne, and like the probabilities are 0.025 if I'm not mistaken. The draw rate is 0.03%. I'm gonna ask people, what's the probability of it being premium? Okay, 0.03% times 8%. That's very small. That is super small. That is a 0.000024%. No, that's not percent. Sorry. It's a, if you want to turn it into percent format, 0.0024%. That's how rare it is to get the card we just pulled. And never try to forget that even if we don't get very good cards or cards we don't know how to use, they're still gifts from God. Just because we don't know how to use them doesn't exactly make them not gifts. In fact, some of the best cards in the game are not even legendaries. So sometimes we're just like, we just open garbage. But some of the best cards in most card games are just commons, and we just need to learn how to use them, or just rolls, or just rares. And let's see. Oh, that's so good. Leader. That is so crazy. I'm making my Twitter post right now. I gotta make the Twitter post now. Well, 0.025. Dario Witch. I think having the right mindset of just saying, look, God, whatever you give me, let me use it to the full potential. I think that's a very good starting point to just put ourselves in a receiving mindset, because I already have a lot of stuff that I don't even know how to use. Let's put it bluntly, I have a lot of blessings I just don't know, I'm not even using. And if we just keep asking for more, that's not the solution. Like, if we just keep getting more stuff that we don't use is not anything different. And I know that I'm guilty of that. And so there's a lot of cards. Like, let's be really honest to ourselves. If we're very honest to ourselves, if we just look at the leaders that we got in the past, I actually like them more, not because I've played with them. Look, I got Galmio. I have not won a single game with her as my leader. I got last season's leader, we got Mayuko-san, where are you? Oh, I really was really happy about getting her. Miyako, she's so cool, but we didn't even play. We didn't even make a deck with her. We got Liza right at the end of the season. That was a big one. So it's not like the leaders change anything for me from a gameplay point of view, but they're just really collectibles. I'd say. It's just collectibles. I don't even play Swordcraft, partially because I've never liked the leader. I've never even played Swordcraft in a long time. Let's put this down. Save. That's what I think about Swordcraft. 428. I just couldn't do the whole samurai bra thing. I think she looks great, but then having the maid shoulders and then the bra, just like the corset, it hurts me. Even though I like her purple eyeballs and I like her face, but it hurts. It cringe. The cringe is real. Which I don't even know if Dionne's an improvement to that, because she's kind of wearing even more of a maid outfit, which it's kind of, which makes me laugh. It's just like, why do you have to do this? But for me, the most important part of receiving this Dionne, especially a premium Dionne, it's not about the Dionne actually. I don't really think the Dionne's important. I think the giver is more important than the gift. So if God gives me this gift, I will receive it. It doesn't matter. I may not like her outfit very much, but I think it's just like if someone we love very much gives us a gift, even if it's kind of a potato gift, we'll still be very happy. Like if the girl I loved gave me a flower that was half dead, I would be ecstatic. I'd be happy. I wouldn't really care if it's potato. And so I try to find that same consistency when I think about God giving gifts, is that whenever God gives me gifts, he actually gives me gifts I may not know how to use, I may not know how to appreciate, but whatever he gives it for a reason. And if he gives it for a reason, my quest is to see how can I use it to its fullest ability, and to be appreciative not of the gift so much as the gift giver. Most people open card packs, I think they're just interacting with random chance, which is true, but it goes back from a deep philosophical place of everything we have, like our own life. Should we be thankful to our ancestors? Should we not be thankful to anyone because life is hard? Should we be upset and suicidal when we're suicidal? I can just say, look, my life is my own. I am responsible for my own life. Did we create our own lives? I think from a deep philosophical place, everyone has the choice of saying, is this life a gift or not? Is everything I have a gift or not? Is the time I have on this earth a gift or not? Are the random cards I got, is this a gift or not? Is Shadowverse being free a gift from other game designers? Is the community that shares decks, are they a gift? How do the people compete? I think like when people I even have another card pack that I forgot about it. No, I didn't. I don't. What the? I don't have a card pack. I have this. Even the competitors that we play against. Honestly, Shadowverse, sometimes we think games like this are about, we think they're about, oh, where's these decks? We think they were about ourselves, or think about our collection, but really, games that are computer games, card games, would be absolutely boring and stupid if nobody played them. Like if there was no one else playing the game, it actually wouldn't even be playable and it wouldn't be fun. So actually the greatest gift that we can experience in a card game like Shadowverse isn't getting a card. It's actually playing against people who are hella good, who push you, who beat the crap out of you. These guys, these are the tournament winning decks. These guys are the ones who are the real gift. If they don't exist, if these people weren't playing Shadowverse would not be worth playing. These guys came to beat me up into a bloody pulp, and they do, and that's exactly where a lot of theory crafting and deck building solutions become really crazy. Like the crazy decks are what make Shadowverse interesting. And so sometimes we look at our fellow competitors, or we look at other players and we think, oh, that guy, he's just a lucky guy, oh, blah, blah, blah. Really, every single human being is a gift to every other single human being. Every single human being, I didn't create them. They have a history, they have a past. And in card games and multiplayer games, these players are actually what make these games worth playing. Even the players we don't like, even the players who are rude to us, even the players who are just really good and who play the factions or decks we hate the most, those are actually they are the ones who are helping make the community interesting and healthy. And if they don't exist, there would be no game. If every single person who was good just stopped playing this game, there would be no new card sets. And no new card sets means that the game's gone, and who cares if you have a leader or no leader, because the game's going to be completely disappear. I really like, for example, even this feature. This feature, I didn't pay for it. Someone in Shadowverse at the design team did a good job of basically identifying, hey, what if we shared tournament-winning decks in client for rotation and unlimited formats? Wouldn't that be cool? So that anybody who's not up to date could literally copy the deck, and boom, they could just build that deck immediately. I think that this is such a great idea, and that this was a real gift on the part of whoever did it, because all the other card games I play, no one does this. No one's built this client. It takes extra work, takes extra effort to be organized, and then we can go all the way back in time to the previous seasons from quite a while ago. So that's a gift. Someone put a little bit more of themselves in the game. So sometimes when we're just looking at gifts, we don't need to even talk about God. We can just basically say, hey, thank you for building this feature. Mythgard, thank you for building this feature, building that feature. But that's where, for myself, I'm not saying my philosophy is better than other people, but the place that I've come to is I am of the belief that it's worth, and it's actually correct, to be thankful for everything to God, because God's the reason why. There would no God, no Shadowverse. No God, no card packs, because there's no Shadowverse. No God, there wouldn't even be other players to play Shadowverse against you. No God, I would not exist. I would not exist means I can't even play Shadowverse. No God, there would not even be green. And that's actually the place where I've come to is I love my Grandmaster card back, this green card back. I love it. I love this one way more than the red one, because green it's just the right hue. But I will tell you that this could not exist if it wasn't for God. There would not be green. The color green, it wouldn't exist. Neither would Roy G. Biv, neither would light, and I wouldn't even have eyeballs and I couldn't even see. So the number of things that I could actually be thankful to God for when we start to realize what God has done is incredibly deep. For example, arms and legs. God gave, let's say we like girls, we think girls are pretty. Why do we think girls are pretty? Why do we not think guys are necessarily pretty? Guys can be pretty, but let's say, why is this character cute? Well, maybe it's the way the arms or legs bend just very slightly, very subtle. Maybe it's just a little bit of difference between female and male, just very small difference, very subtle. God made that. God made the subtle difference. He may not have made it and he didn't say every girl looks like this, he didn't say every guy looks like this, but he definitely paid attention enough to build the character design of humans and give them small differences that make a big difference. And that's like guy and girl, there's barely any difference. Artistically, there's barely any difference. Yet we can immediately identify one as a guy and one as a girl. That makes me think about ants, because I realized ants must have male and female. I have no idea. I can't even tell the difference between a male and female ant unless it's the queen. And I just feel like if we just start looking at every card, we would start to realize, wait a minute, we could be thankful to God for a lot more than we could ever count. 1 million or even 1 billion years would not be enough. If I was to say thank God for a billion years straight, it would never act. I would not run out of things to say, and I'd actually run out of air before I'd run out of things to say, because I'm not even intelligent or perceptive enough to recognize how many things I have due cause to be thankful for. For example, mechanization. If there was no God, there would be no language, and if there was no language, there would be no English, and then you would not even have the ability to have the names of card sets like Dawnbreaker, Night Edge. If God didn't create sound, then you couldn't have sound effects. If God didn't create wood and trees, we would not have the material timber to build houses like this little creepy vampire town. If God did not give us imagination, we would not be able to create things like whirlwind rhinoceros. Whoever designed this thing is awesome. It's a rhino fused with a cockroach, and it's literally the deck that carried me to Grandmaster. Not once, twice is the flying cockroach rhinos, which is why we have 3 premiums of them, because we wanted to say we actually crafted 3 premiums of this to say thank you to the whirlwind rhinoceros, because he carried my butt to Grandmaster twice, once in rotation and once in unlimited. And so we thought, look, premium cards are really hard to craft in Shadowverse, but if there was a premium card that was worthy of being crafted, it's the whirlwind rhinoceros, because he's been a good friend. Like, he's literally he literally carried my ass, right? And in a way, that's my way of saying thank you, whirlwind rhinoceros, crafting into premium. Same thing with Liza. Liza was also she was integral too. So I then crafted three Lizas, and I was like, look, thank you, Liza. So 3 Lizas and 3 rhinoceroses. And then we got this Liza, which is pretty funny, because then I was like, could you have come a little bit sooner? This is the leader Liza. I was like, hello, why did you come right after? Like, I opened her in a pack basically right after I had crafted 3 of these premiums, and I was like, I would have made you premium if you had come in time. I wonder if leader even shows up. Oh, leader does not show up. That's unfortunate. I wonder if there's a way to search for leaders. Oh. I'm gonna go change games. I needed to open something for Gwent, but and I did I post that tweet? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna post that right now, so I need to stop and I'll restart. But you're always welcome to ask questions. I just feel that thankfulness is not something that should ever be forced. It's very, very. It's not thankfulness is not something that can be forced. So some people may wonder, why doesn't God just force people to be thankful? Well, if He forced us to be thankful, we wouldn't be thankful, because thankful means full of thanks, literally full of thanks. And when we're thankful, I find that I was born on Thanksgiving week. I basically find that we have no room for anything else. Like, if we're thankful, if our body is full of thankfulness, we don't have room for jealousy. We don't have room for hatred. We don't have room for anger. We don't have room for a lot of negative emotions. Greed. Thankfulness is a cure to so many of the other things that can filled us. Rage, full of despair, full of lust, full of shame. One of the cures to that is just being thankful. Because if we're thankful, we're already full to the brim with thanks. And if we're already filled, nothing that gets poured in can come back, can fit. It would just bounce off. It would just flow out, overflow. And so I know that some people have found it difficult to experience God, but the fastest way that I know to experience God is to just start saying thank you. And the belief is there's someone who's literally listening. That every time I'm saying thank you, it's not to an imaginary friend. It's not to someone who's invisible. God's not actually invisible. It's actually we just can't see. Like I can't see you. You can't see me. It's almost as if we're invisible, but I'm not invisible. If I was to walk right in front of you or you were to walk right in front of me, you could see me. 99% of the living creatures that exist on this planet are not invisible. They're just not visible. Invisible means cannot be seen. Not visible means they're just not being seen. And for us, a lot of people think God's the invisible God, invisible. Look, it has some truth to it, but if I was to be really honest with you, it's not that God's invisible because he cannot be seen. It's because we don't actually have the right eyesight to see him. Same thing with, it's like air particles. Air particles are real and they're invisible to the naked eye. But are they really invisible? No. If we use thermodynamics and we basically put on heat sensing goggles, we can actually look at air currents, air patterns, and I mean, come on, tornadoes. Tornadoes are not invisible. Why are tornadoes not invisible? Because the air particles decided to finally show up and show who they are to our naked eye. The air particles are always there. The things that make tornadoes happen are already in the same room as us. The only difference is they decided to move. They decided to move, and I don't think God's that different than air particles. It's not that air particles cannot be seen. We just need to put on thermodynamic goggles, and same thing with seeing God move. When God moves, sometimes he chooses to move in very small ways. Air moves all the time around us. That's how we breathe. We're not even conscious of breathing. Yet it's happening. Air particles are entering our system and leaving our lungs. In fact, coronavirus kills people because that process gets interrupted with liquid filling the lungs through pneumonia. So if we're not even conscious of that, could it be that we do not see God, not because God's not there, not because God's not invisible, but because God's not visible to us because we're not wearing the right goggles? I mean, I get this thinking every single time I see an ant crawl on me, and I'm just like, does this guy have any idea who he's walking on? Obviously not. Like, if an ant is walking on my finger, he's not even panicking. He's not even tripping. He's like walking on death. Yet he doesn't even know. And he's just like, if he did know, he would be panicking and moving quickly. Like, I know when ants are panicking, they move super fast. But when they are crawling on you, half the time they didn't realize they're actually crawling on a living being. Humans aren't that different than the ants. We are actually on top of a living being. The whole planet Earth is in God's hands, which would make the analogy. It's not that God can't be seen. God's just so big that we can't see it. Just like planet Earth. Planet Earth is so big that we can't even see it without instrumentation. You cannot see the planet Earth or without the right perspective. You either have to get at a high enough altitude, far away from orbit, so you could actually see the Earth in its glory, or you can be like everyone else for thousands of years, tens and tens of thousands, if not millennia, and millions of years, if it depends on how you want to age things. But from too close up, we can't see where we're even on the Earth. So it makes me think, if we can't even tell that we're in the Milky Way galaxy without advanced instrumentation, what makes us think we would see something even bigger? Because God is bigger than Milky Way galaxy. And since he's bigger than the Milky Way galaxy, it's not that we can't see the Milky Way galaxy because it's so small. We can't see the Milky Way galaxy because we're in the middle of it and it's so big. We are the ant. We are the ones who are so small. We can't see that we're in the Milky Way galaxy. We can't even see we're on the planet Earth, and the Milky Way galaxy is way bigger than the Earth. God's way bigger than the Milky Way galaxy. God's bigger than the Milky Way is to the Earth. the Milky Way galaxy, I don't even know if that number is even it's a finite number, but it's a huge number. It's not a small number at all. How many times is empty space, Milky Way, bigger than the Earth? The volume, the sheer volume of the Milky Way galaxy compared to the volume of the Earth, it's titanic. I'm gonna say Titanic is the volume of the Milky Way galaxy. I don't even know if anyone's calculated that. 8 trillion cubic what? Light years. 8 trillion cubic light years. Wow. 8 trillion cubic light years. If anyone's wondering why they don't see God, it's because the Milky Way galaxy is 8 trillion cubic light years, and we can't even see the Milky Way galaxy without help. And God's bigger than the Milky Way galaxy. Like, God would call 8 trillion cubic light years small. That's exactly why whenever I'm talking about God, my mind gets constantly blown. My mind's exploding because it's like, think about that. The Milky Way galaxy is 8 trillion cubic light years. And dude, there's no way Earth is even 1 cubic light year. Earth's volume is not even. It doesn't even approach that size. If the volume of the Earth is 260 billion cubic miles, the volume 8 trillion cubic light years, not even 1 trillion cubic light year, is just so many times bigger than the Earth. And so when we think about God's bigger than the Milky Way, then the Milky Way is bigger than the Earth. And that's an absurd amount of zeros. Sometimes I feel like God, when he made us and then he made the stars and the galaxies, he intentionally made us hella small, and then he made those numbers hella big. And I do think that humans can say to themselves, I don't believe there's a God because I don't see you, God. I don't see you. But what we cannot have an excuse is the stars. Any person who's pondered the stars for any length of time is put into a philosophical mode that it's impossible to really study the stars and just say, yep, I'm just going to be, yep, life is just about eat, drink, sleep, and sex, die, money. No way. Like, in fact, that would be a true failure in philosophy. If a person considers the stars and they basically are not able to come into touch with a spiritual or a higher way of thinking, a more logical or just a more rich philosophy, something's wrong. Like, something's wrong. That's just my opinion. Not trying to say judge other people saying, oh, if you consider the stars and you're not thinking about God, you're off. I'm just saying that the stars in themselves, their sheer size is so gigantic. It's like the stars are laughing at mankind. The stars laugh at mankind. Every time humans say, oh, this test is so difficult. Oh, God, why do you make life so hard? Oh, this, oh, that. They're like, oh, life is like, man, that girl doesn't like me. Every time we blow things to such massive proportions. We make it sound like the whole universe is going to collapse. That's why we think, oh, this is so bad or this is so good, and the stars are laughing at saying, nah, man, it's not that good and it's not that bad. Every single time. And the true riddle of the stars is simply to prove to us in our face there's more than meets the eye. So whenever we think to ourselves, yeah, I understand the universe. Yeah, I understand philosophy. Yeah, I understand psych. Yeah, I understand it. Yeah, I understand card games. The stars exist to me simply to tell us, go deeper. There's more. There's more that you do not see. Keep looking. Keep asking. Stay humble. Stay hungry. Don't get ahead of yourself. There's a lot still unknown to you, son. The moment you think we've got it all figured out, the stars remind us we do not even understand what's in the sky. There's so many, like, we do not understand what's in the sky. If we truly understood physics at the level God does, we would have literally no problem in creating worlds. That's actually one of the things about the evidence of the stars is we can say an astronomer or an astrologer or a cosmologist, astrophysicist, they can say to themselves, yeah, I understand how the universe works. I can draw up some equations. I can tell you about Newtonian physics. I can tell you about special relativity. I understand Einstein. Oh yeah, you understand Einstein. But do you really understand how the system works? Because the true question is, if we really understood how worlds work, we could create them. If we knew how to, the very fact the stars exist indicate that they can be created. They can be, if someone had the firepower and if someone had enough power, enough strength, enough technology, they could certainly create Saturn. That's exactly why Saturn exists. And so the very fact is, we might say we know, yeah, I know where Saturn is. Oh yeah, we can see it. We can take satellite pictures. But the thing is, can we even move it 1 inch off its orbit? Can we even push Saturn 1 inch off its orbit? The answer is no, not with our current tech. But that doesn't mean it cannot be pushed off its orbit, because all the evidence, historical data proves that every celestial body can indeed be pushed off its orbit. But you would need such dramatic power that humans at the present time do not have access to. And these are all riddles proving to us you're still playing in the kiddie park, children. Just because so you think you're powerful, move Saturn off 1 inch off its orbit. Sorry, even if President Xi Jinping and Donald Trump decided to spend the rest of their life moving Saturn off their orbit for 1 inch, it's going to fail. And that's an indicator that we're not the most powerful being in the universe. It's an indicator that you can't even move it off 1 inch. You think you can create Saturn? Hello, Saturn exists. Just like we can see diamonds on our planet, we can find diamonds in the ground, or we can manufacture them. Once we truly understand something, you can create it. We can create diamonds in laboratories. And now the question is, okay, you think you understand the stars? Your turn. Show me what you got. Can you create the stars? And I actually think that the answer is yes. If humans got their shit together, humans could create stars. And I'm not saying in order to create stars and to get to that galactic power, humans would need to turn it up to a whole nother level. At that stage, mankind would not look at all like what it is now. Mankind would not waste so much time committing suicide, shooting other people. Mankind would not be bragging about, oh, I've got 5 master degrees. Mankind would not be saying, oh, so what's your salary? Or mankind would not be like, ew, you're the wrong color. In order to achieve such magnificence, to reach the full human potential, mankind needs to be reborn and changed into a completely new humanity. A humanity that actually sees this life in a completely different way, and sees each other in a completely different way. And that's exactly what God calls us to do. Take ourselves and find our highest potential, and also cultivate that in other people. At the family level, at the national level, at the neighborhood level, at the social level, at the friend level. And that's what God smiles about. I mean, what is it really that hard? I don't think so. I think that many people have chosen to make God not smile and make God cringe, not because making God smile was difficult, but because they didn't want to make God smile. They basically didn't think that was their purpose. They just didn't think it was important. Oh, what do you mean make God smile? They just thought making themselves smile was important. It doesn't matter if I make other people frown. That's exactly what's rape. Someone smiling at someone else frowning. What's theft? Why do people steal iPhones? That's smiling at someone else's frowning. Why do people bait people with lawsuits. Sometimes people trigger lawsuits on purpose. They basically uh, they they create a scenario and a situation, a loop, and find a loop, identify a loophole, create a situation where they can sue someone, and they can be legally in the right, but they are morally in the wrong. And the whole point is to get a huge cash payout. Why do people do that? To make themselves smile at the expense of someone else frowning. So we've already have this culture of, if I smile but other people frown, that's okay. And in fact, it's not only okay, it's like something that we should try to become good at. That's exactly what Napoleon, uh, Julius Caesar, they were experts at smiling, making other people frown, which is exactly why they were both assassinated. Why was Napoleon assassinated in prison on St. Helena? Because he made so many enemies. I mean, come on, conquering multiple people's countries is going to give you more than a few enemies. I mean, Napoleon more or less united an international community against himself. How did you make that happen? Those he made so many people who are not friends become friends because he was threatening them in such a real and tangible way. When you're threatening people, you're basically saying, I want you guys, I'm going to make you frown and I'm going to smile. That's a threat. I'm going to smile and you're going to frown. Yeah, if you do start doing that at the level that Napoleon does, you're basically going to create animosity and increase people frowning at you. And when you increase people frowning at you, you're going to make people want to hurt you, which is exactly why he died in a prison, far away from mankind, exiled and assassinated, poisoned. Why was Julius Caesar stabbed 20 times? The Ides of March? 20 times plus? Why? I mean, he was a smart guy. Julius Caesar was a smart guy, maybe one of the smartest people who lived in his time period. He was well loved by his own soldiers. He made a lot of political enemies, and he was very successful in the triumvirate. He was very successful in terms of politically success. In fact, he was so confident in political success, he's the first person to call himself emperor in the history of the Romans. Caesar, Julius Caesar. Caesar's not a last name. Caesar's a title. Caesar means Kaiser, emperor. He named himself, he changed the Roman Republic into an empire. And he had real cause to do that. He basically said, look, the old republic system is not working that well. We're having civil wars. Rome was having civil wars. We need strong central leadership, and that's exactly what his main motive was. But deep, deep down from a philosophical place, the man was okay to make people frown if that made him smile. And that's exactly why people chose to stab him to death, because they hated him that much. Not saying that makes him a bad person. I'm just saying that the human way of doing things is I smile, you frown, good. And that is why humans do not know how to move Saturn off its axis. Because if we're too busy fighting ourselves, how can we actually achieve great things? Like, humans fighting humans has to be, it's not like it's always wrong. I'm saying it's definitely lost potential. Basically, every time a person fights someone who could have been their friend, that's net negative. Like, there are so many positive interactions that could happen between human beings, but every time a negative interaction is taking place, that's a positive interaction not happening. And so that's what keeps the species very, very animalistic, very barbaric, very small-minded, very hateful. And so what's all this about? The stars and mankind, the gifts that God gives us. The true question is, I think the true question is, how do we escape? How do we escape and become a new humanity? The current humanity and the historical humanity are not living life to the fullest potential. And that's where God can help. Humans are not living their fullest potential because we don't know how to get ourselves on track. We don't know how to escape anger, hatred, fear, shame, blood feuds, etc. We don't know how to reset. We don't know how to forgive. We don't know how to forget. We don't know how to optimize. We don't even know how to fight, for crying out loud. We're like, when humans fight each other, we're not even doing it right. Like we're not very logical. We're very irrational. And we're full of so many things, everything but thankfulness. And or love. We have a little bit of love, but we're not full of love. We have a little bit of thankfulness, but not fully thankful. And the thing is, it's impossible, I think, to be truly full of thanks, like completely full of thanks, unless you feel like you have something to be thankful for. And that's exactly where God, even as a philosophical concept, as a person, becomes a possible source of thankfulness. Where basically it no longer matters to a person like me what actually happens to me. I'm already thankful. I'm already thankful for what I got. And so I'm thankful for the difficult. I'm thankful for the easy. I'm thankful for the happy. I'm thankful for the struggle. I'm thankful for the opportunities. I'm thankful for the danger. Once we start taking in like that, I think that's when God's filling us with thanks, and it's pushing out all those other negative things. And in that case, it can transform us into completely different human beings. If you put thankfulness into a human being long enough, for a long period of time, they will change into a different kind of being. If you put hatred, fear, shame, superstition, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, advertising, all if you are filling yourself with this, or if this is filling us, it changes us into another kind of humanity. Generally speaking, a kind of humanity that we never wanted to be like in the first place, but we end up becoming. So I'm gonna switch, but these are my real thoughts on this subject of thankfulness and gifts from God. I feel like if we are able to see things that we have, and even the things we don't have but are just around us, like other people, as gifts from God, it's a life-altering perspective that can actually remove a lot of the other things inside of us that we want to remove. A lot of people have guilt, shame, fear, anxiety. We want to remove that stuff, and we think that we counter fear with confidence. Oh, just be confident, just act confident, or just be confident, or just talk confident. Counter feelings of lust with just get sexual release. Like if you just have sexual release, you're going to be fine. Just got blue balls. We try to counter things like hatred with, oh, just kill the person you hate. That's how we have vengeance in our heart. Oh, avenge yourself. That's how you're going to unburden yourself. No. Avenging yourself does not unburden people's vengeance. People, even after they've killed the person they were angry and hated, they're still angry. So they thought that, oh, if the person I hate, if I killed them, I'm going to be a better and happier person. But once they killed them, they're just like, wait a minute, I'm still angry, and now it's time to kill the next person. Like, I got so good at killing people, it's time to go kill the next. And that's exactly what and then the person's not even feeling good about it. It's like, wow, why do I feel so bad? Why do I feel so terrible? There are a lot of things inside the human spirit, the human psyche, that we wish we could remove, and we don't know how to remove it. And I'm suggesting that thankfulness can push it out, and that thankfulness needs a target. You can't be thankful to nothing. You can't be thankful. Thank you, water bottle. Water bottle, you're so sexy. Thank you for feeding me water. It's so fake. Thankfulness needs a real target, a real person to be thankful toward. It needs an actual being to be thankful. So if it's a person, thank you who collected this water bottle. Thank you right now. Thank you for whoever designed the computer mouse, because that's a genius invention. That's more real than saying, mouse, thank you for being a mouse. Water bottle, thank you for being a water bottle. Water bottle can't hear us. switching. Oh, that's so fantastic.